Good evening, friends. Today is a very special day for us. We invite you all to this very important session wherein we introduce additional topics other than those which are directly being dealt with under the ambit of our course. We always find that there are certain areas which need additional treatment other than those which are being included directly in the course structure. So, for that purpose, from time to time, we invite eminent persons in the field who have contributed a great deal to the development of the discipline. And today is no different. Today, we have a wonderful academician with us, a person who has made his presence felt in the area of his expertise. And this is none other than Professor V. Madhav, whom we are indeed fortunate to have as resource person for this session. Additionally, it is a matter of great pleasure for each and every one of us in the course team to have Professor Rao today, because he's not only an eminent resource person, but also he was part of the first offering of this certificate program in environmental studies, wherein he took this course as a student. And we greatly, let me be very frank with all of you, we greatly benefited from the inputs that he gave during the transaction of the course, and the sincerity and humbleness with which he took forward each and every aspect of this course is something that we relish to this day. So welcome you, sir. Welcome to this program. And I'm sure your session will be of great interest to each and every student today. It is also my proud privilege to welcome my colleagues, Dr. Prasitha Unnikrishnan, Dr. Sindhu P. Nair, and of course, I hope Dr. Jalajomari will be joining us shortly. And all these three members are part of our course team. So welcome Sindhu Madam, Prasitha Madam, and Jalaja Madam to this program. First and foremost, to introduce formally our very eminent resource person, Professor V. Madhav, let me invite Dr. Prasitha Unnikrishnan, who is working as Assistant Regional Director at IGNO Regional Center, Cochin, and who is, of course, very much a part of our course team for this program, certificate program in environmental sustainability. Over to you, Prasitha Madam. Madam, could you unmute yourselves? Dr. Prasitha, are you online? I think there is a bit of a connectivity issue with Dr. Prasitha. Dr. Prasitha, are you able to connect to the studio? Okay. Since there is a bit of a connectivity issue, I shall myself introduce Professor Madhav in brief. In fact, he has a very large series of accomplishments to his name. So it will not be possible for me to cover the entire gamut of accomplishments that Professor Madhav has on his name. But still, I would like to cover the most salient of them. Professor Rao is currently working as a research professor. Dr. Okay, Professor Rao is currently working as a research professor at GIET University, Odisha. He was the former advisor and head CGARD, School of Science, Technology and Knowledge Systems in NIRDPR, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of Hyderabad, Government of India, Hyderabad. He was also former professor and head CGARD, NIRDP. He was the former deputy director and head computer cell and economic research in KVIC, and he also held several other posts such as lecturer placement officer in SMIT, University of Behrampur, Orissa, so on and so forth. As I told you right at the beginning, Professor Rao's repertoire is so large that to cover it, cover his accomplishments itself may take an entire session. So, to be brief with his professional training, Sir has in fact received professional training in geospatial technology applications at AIT Bangkok. Sir is also trained in ODA in IAPR in Philippines. Sir has a large number of academic qualifications to his name. He has a PhD in engineering, spatial information technology. He also has an MTech in remote sensing. He has done his PG diploma in planning and project management. He has a PhD in economics from Varanasi. He has MBA. He has an MBA to his name from Symbiosis Institute, so on and so forth. So he, in fact, has a wide variety of accomplishments to his name, and he also is pursuing Doctor of Science (DSc) from Sambalpur University, Orissa. So this is in short what I can say about Professor Madhav and his accomplishments, and definitely I'm sure with this wide repertoire of knowledge and experience in various fields associated with the area which he is going to deal with today. He is going to expose us to a wide variety of issue areas in the topic geospatial technology applications in environmental protection. And it is our proud privilege to welcome once again Professor Madhav to this program. Sir, it is our privilege and we welcome you to this program. The floor is open to you, sir, and I hope we can have a very informed and useful interaction with the learners as well later on in this course. Thank you, sir.
So thank you very much, Professor Rajesh. In fact, I am a proud student of this course, as Professor Rajesh said. I always feel very happy in always interacting with him. I thought that whatever we did has a lot of implications and will be useful in environmental protection. So I linked the technology with the various studies I did and try to present to you. And and I feel that this will be definitely an extra exposure to the study which you are pursuing. Well, uh, you have the world is changing. Earlier, whatever you used to physically, now we have a lot of technological tools, particularly geospatial technology. The geo means earth, and especially the space referenced by coordinates. And you have in this the technology, the information, the the tools which are available, which makes it possible to get the information which are pertaining to environment, ecology, climate, and every point of earth. And so this we can try to see how we can make it more you know uh, more knowledgeable and application oriented, and take decisions to protect the environment vis-a-vis all that knowledge base on the environmental issues, as well as how we can make people participate in this program to make a difference. Government participate, the local bodies participate, and we ourselves can contribute in making a change in the whole scenario. Well, the presentation outline will be the environment and environmental protection. Of course, you all are very aware and very familiar, because we have eminent people like Professor Rajesh and his colleagues who are exposing you on this. Then I will introduce you about geospatial technology and tell about or describe, expose you on the geospatial technology on environmental protection, and to make you sensitize and appreciate and understand. I will be discussing about the various case studies. We ourselves did some case studies in Kerala, and that also we are going to present to you, and some best practice lessons we will be discussing on this issue. Well, when you discuss about environment, environment is a broad gamut, and it has its connotation with people, life, and planet, and animals and plants and everything put together. Whereas when you consider climate will be specific to a region with the variations. So the environment could be living, could be non-living, and could be physical, chemical, and other natural forces. Details, I think you all know, but just to give a brief about this, to start with, we can go ahead. It can be animals, plants, soil, water, everything living and non-living. Generally, four major component of the environment will be lithosphere. It is the outermost sphere of the earth. We are protected from the environment point of view with the ultraviolet rays, which are emanated from the sun and other stars, which are filtered at the outer layer, so the earth is protected. Otherwise, this may cause devastating effect on health and the communication system. Then, when you say hydrosphere, hydro means water. So, hydrosphere is all the water resources. You have atmosphere, that is related to air, and you have the biosphere, that is related to life. So, you have the components. The components could be natural environment, human environment, and physical environment. When it, as I said, when you call climate, it is specific to a particular location referenced by coordinates. Like you all know that any place in the earth can be described by its location, and the location could be physically done by its coordinates. Coordinates means what? You have lat, long, altitude, and these, even with your mobile, and you have already read in your school days how to identify it. Nowadays, many people, they transmit their location, receive the information about location, they travel everything through the locational features. That also we are going to come. This is a part of the geospatial technology. uh, we have the environment is a very broad concept. So there is always a concern about environment, because environment needs protection. A lot of changes keep happening, and it will affect the large area and the total ecosystem. In our constitution, we have the directive principle of state, in which Professor Rajesh, of course, has taught us all this when we were students. Article 48 says about that the government will try to safeguard forests, wildlife in the country. And for citizens, Article 51A, the citizens need to also protect and improve the natural environment. Lot of changes, amendments have come since many, the acts, and the recent ones I have enlisted. Professor Rajesh and his colleagues might be exposing to you, and you will be definitely aware of the latest one, that is the Environmental Protection 115 Amendment Rule, which has come recently. Sorry. Now, when it comes to this technology, the technology gives a broad perspective of the earth features, what goes on in the earth. To be specific to India, we cover different types of information related to environment. One could be, for example, forest cover. Why forest cover? Because forest is directly related to forest health, forest condition, forest degradation, forest fire, or zoom cultivation, that is shifting cultivation, or maybe tree cutting in forest. All those things are related to environmental aspects. And in your state, people are very active, and quite a lot of protection measures were taken, like in other states, like Sundarlal Bahuguna, uh, fought against government and other agencies to safeguard the forest, because it is directly related to the environment. Okay. Now, the Forest Survey of India is the agency in India, and also globally, you can see regularly many much of the data is available in the public domain. You can see and understand how what's going changing on the earth, and to what extent the industry, the human beings, the different policy programs, the different aspects affect the forest, and thus the environment. So the forest research map of India, you can see the dense forest, moderately dense, open source. Now, once you have this map, you know where exactly which area needs protection, also regeneration, and regrowth, and safeguarding the forest resources. So this is one simple example. Similarly, if you see the biological resources, wildlife, including fauna, flora, soil health, vegetation. For that, you can also see the entire area of our country or maybe state or district or even local region. The data is available up to a point level, and based on that, while you do some planning to protect your environment, all this will come handy in taking decisions to how to go about in improving the environment. Now, when it comes to this technology is geospatial technology. Geo refers to Earth. So, and the anything, any information we gather through technological means about Earth could be this falls under this technology. But when you come to geospatial, specifically, this is about Earth referenced by coordinates. Like when you say geospatial, the geospatial refers to a place on the Earth and referenced by coordinate. Maybe it is India, maybe it is Kerala, or maybe it is Kochi, or maybe your own house, or your field, or your plantation, and this technology will facilitate. Broadly, this technology has three dimensions. One could be the geographic information system known as GIS. The next one is global navigation satellite system known as GNSS, and the third one is satellite remote sensing. So we have different types of satellites. Broadly, the GNSS and RS relates to satellite sensors, aerial photography, drones. Recently, drone policy has come into force. People can liberally use without much of a licensing and gather information. Now, with that, the farmers and the farming community, plantation, and much of the industry have started using drone for even land record monitoring and progress of the air pollution and many of the things. Now, the GIS is a computerized system which has inbuilt capability to store the large number of data, analyze data, display data. The display could be in 2D, that is length and breadth, two dimensional, 3D with height, so you can perceive as if you are in the field and we're seeing. Even 4D, when you put the time dimension, like you have come from one place to another, or say 90 to say 2022. So different time periods, what changes has taken place. That is your 4D. Even 5D, like that, up to 11D, you can do the analysis. So that is the capability of the technologies. In case of satellite remote sensing, we have all the type of information, whether even above the earth or even below the earth. Now you may say, no, no, we have never heard about below the earth. Below the earth, already mining companies and some of the scientific research is going on with the Doppler, that is your sound wave. But now, since the last 20 years, 25 years, people have come with radio waves. This radio wave can go up to 50 meters. And so, what they do is with radio wave, they got like radar. It gives all above the ground about atmosphere, climate, about much of the information. Similarly, communication and all that. Similarly, the ground penetrating radar known as GPR. The GPR gives the information below the ground. So it is used widely for mostly for archaeological survey, because archaeology mostly you cannot demolish or damage anything archaeological because they are very precious, and any damage take place is irreparable. So that's why what they do is they use widely GPR. Similarly, at what depth there is water, or what depth there is gas, minerals, diamonds, gold, hidden wealth, or whatever it is, up to 15, 20 meter below. you can find much of the information very clearly. So slowly it is widely used. Now it's slowly becoming very popular. So above the ground, you have drones, you have aircrafts, you have satellites. The satellites also different types of satellite. One satellite could be communication satellite, like we have broadcasting, radio, TV, all are through communication satellites. And secondly, you have polar orbiting satellites. The satellites will always move from North Pole to South Pole, and it is at the altitude of about 100 kilometers above the Earth, and it is not stationary. Whereas in case of communication satellite, it is stationary. So when it is stationary to India, for example, a particular Earth, so it will always beam its signals about communication, about connectivity, and all that to that region. So that's why it is known as communication satellite. When it comes to remote sensing, they will keep moving. So today it is Kochi, tomorrow it may be Indian Ocean, third day it could be Antarctica. So like that it keep moving. So every 14 days, 16 days, known as repetitive cycle, you can get the picture of Kochi. So today Kochi is maybe is in rains, and next time after 14 days or so, when the satellite passes through that, maybe there is cyclone, or maybe there is heavy rainfall, or maybe some flooding. So like that, so you can monitor time to time what happens on vegetation. So this gives very helpful information about the climatic and the environmental aspect. And say, for example, land encroachment, forest depletion, or maybe some settlement and all, infrastructure, or maybe some some construction which has created some problem about landslide, or maybe some soil erosion. All these things will be observed from closely. Then we have GNSS. Your geo point where you are about lat long, very clearly with the time. It gives very precise information. Nowadays, maximum people use mobile for getting the location aspects. Now, when it comes to satellite remote sensing, why you use? Because this is very useful for environmental protection, because you have a very large area information very clearly. So that is one part. So large up to a point level also. A plot of land, or your house, or even a well, or even some tap in your house, to a country level, or even a earth level information. So different, they call it a concept known as resolution. I don't want to confuse you with all technicalities, but it is possible. With a drone can give you very point level information, or even below. Nowadays, even there are very low cost sensors. The sensors will keep on observing. So you have precision agriculture, for example, plantation, or maybe some crops, spices. So it will keep on observing and reflecting, gathering all information, and pushes to mobile towers, and any part of the world. Researchers and agriculture scientists and industries, agro processing industries, or farmers could get the information time to time. Accordingly, if there is a pest infection, or whether there is a water press, then what they need to do immediately, they can act. So that way they protect the surrounding environment. Similarly, repeated observation, as I say, every 15 days, 12 days, even 98 minutes, there are satellites. There are so many satellites of different countries. India has also a lot of satellites. And this satellite, for example, our most popular satellite now, earlier it was IRS, Indian Remote Sensing Satellite 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. Lot of applications were developed societally for environment, for forestry, for land records, for wetland, for watershed, and all that. Now we have Kato 1, Cartosat. Kato means map making. So Cartosat means satellite for map making. So it used to give 2.5-meter resolution, means a very small plot of land. Up to that, very clear information was given. Then we have 1 meter. These are used for village level application up to micro level. And now we are getting even sub-meter information. So in future years, we get much advanced, particularly now drones have come, so they become very cheaper compared to satellites. So drone you can get submitted information. So you get even smaller area, very in centimeter area information about the land parcels. You have information on special domain, that is referenced by coordinates. So area wise you can information you can get. What is stereo coverage? That is you get different sides, angles information. So you can generate 3D, 4D. So it will look very convincing, and you can understand better. You can take decision faster. Timeline economy, because it is generate so much of information within less time, and a lot of manpower to gather information. Recording and all are not required immediately. It is digital data, so it is very economic and timely. And global to local application, as I said, from a very globe to countries to states to districts to blocks to villages, and even your house and tap. So this is all possible. How they capture the information. For example, generally, whatever sunlight falls, they call it electromagnetic spectrum. So in that our visible eye is point 0.4 to point 0.7. This is only we can see. Rest all will be ultraviolet, radio waves, and all that from two ends. Now, when you see water, I think my mouse is you are able to observe. You can see this green one is water. This pattern, like when you see this pattern on getting information about a place, then it refers to water. Okay, vegetation. Sorry, vegetation. And when you see soil, it could be somewhat, I mean, this shape, this wave shape. Similarly, say for example, you have uh, when it comes to water, because water absorbs all the light, so it becomes dark. So when you see any dark information on the satellite imagery, it refers to clear water. If there is protruding, there is some impurities, then it will say, for example, you have phytoplankton. Generally, this type of trees are there in ponds and rivers. So they will look this type of shape. So like that, this is just to tell you that we have a different electromagnetic spectrum, visible spectrum 0.4 to point 0.7, what we see, near infrared, and then we have shortwave infrared. The entire one can give you immediately the results that you can relate and say that this is what it is. So I have given that earlier. They used to do a lot of manual calculation for knowing the information. Now you have immediately a geospatial technology which gives very immediate information, whereby you can know whether there is going to be imminent drought. That is once again environmental protection aspect, because if there is going to be a drought 3 months earlier, you can predict drought. Drought could be different one. One can be hydrological drought, that is where the groundwater gets depleted. But what we are talking is agriculture drought, where the soil moisture is getting depleted. So when the soil moisture get depleted, the agriculture is under stress. So the productivity will goes down, and imminently there is going to be a loss to the farmers. So this we can know 3 months before. Once you know 3 months before, what we do? We try to take measures to see that it is neutralized, or the impact is very minimal to the communities and to the society. Generally, environmental impact assessment, or you can say the environmental protection aspects, can be analyzed by a very simple algorithm known as NDVI, normalized differential vegetative index. In different bands, they take the satellite imagery. This is digital data in near infrared band, in red band, infrared band. Then we have near infrared and infrared band. If you take a what is that ratio? This ratio is generally zero point 0.1 to 1.0. So that way, if it is nearing zero point 0.1, the vegetation is very green, lossy, healthy. If it is nearing to zero point 0.1 or even below, it is under stress. So this condition they generate very fast, and within this algorithm they can analyze. For example, for the entire country. Similarly, it is about the various seismic zones. the seismic zones, for example, we have five zones. Now, these zones, if you know, then anything happens in that region, whatever construction, whatever infrastructure, whatever activities are being planned, you can, for protecting the environment, for life, and for the sustainable development, you can take measures. So this could be possible. How? One is to get all the land-based information geologically. Geologically, you get fault, lineament, fracture, fault zone, all the geological analysis you do. After the geological analysis, you get that information and map it up to village level. And once you have broad national to state to district block and up to village level, micro level, then you can protect the environment by creating such infrastructure which are disaster proof, disaster resilient, do not affect much to the fatality, do not adversely impact the climate and also the habitation. So that way you can do it. So this is one such thing. The entire country, once again, agriculture is divided into agroclimatic zones. Now in India, what we do, also in other countries as well, like we without bothering about water, soil, climatic variations, we keep on making monocrop. Like for example, Eastern India and Northern India, they will make only rice. Somewhere in Western India, some part they make wheat, and some parts they make they always grow sugar cane and type of crops. Now these crops are food crops. Now they also require a lot of water. Now we do not bother about whether we have water or whether the local situation can balance, water balance can be maintained, or whether after a few years we have problem of water for drinking water and for other purposes. We do not bother, but we keep on going without understanding our local conditions, and keep on going for agronomy practices, that is crop practices, in whatever we like. But now there is a time come, there is the entire world is under stress, water stress. So for that we need to understand agroclimatic zones, and also to see which climate is suitable for which crop, and also the soil condition, the water resources available, the groundwater potential, the rainfall and precipitation, all the parameters we require. And these are all are available now. Earlier they were not knowing. Traditionally they were following some methods. There was no much of pressure on the people. But now it is mandatory that, or it is required that we follow the suitable crops. For example, your crop is say suitable for plantation. So why you grow for like water bearing crops like rice? You can go for a plantation where which will require less water. So like that we have to go for the soil suitable crops. So that way we can protect the environment. Of course, that was the 15 layers which were demarcated by the agriculture ministry and the ICAR. But now more advanced methods have come. So the ISRO, the National Bureau of Soil Science and Land Use Planning, Nagpur, has classified into 20 classes. So it really helps in better improving the atmospheric condition. This I have just told about atmospheric, the electromagnetic also I have told. About another aspect is in the environmental aspect is how the environment is changing. So what we need to do to protect the environment. This technology can give you the say 20 years, for example, 1975, 85, 40 years, you know how the things are changing. Now, whatever is red is vegetation, whatever is degraded soil, and you have sparsely vegetated, and some water signatures. Now these are all known as signature. For example, if I know you and I have seen your signature, and if some paper comes like your signature, then I can know that yes, it must be you. So similarly, technology, in particular geospatial technology, the earth features are known as signatures. with a signature like this, I can say where is vegetation, where is water, where is degraded soil. So that way you can see that in earlier the area was degraded. Measures were taken after identifying the area. Then some improvement had taken place. How I can say improvement? Because I have seen that the dark patches have increased, means water resources has increased, vegetation has increased, that is the red patches. Why? In satellite imagery, the picture shows red to vegetation. That is because the vegetation chlorophyll content is reflected more in infrared band. So because of infrared band, the vegetation looks red in the satellite imagery. But we can put a false color of green and also show it. But actually, originally it is shown red. So similarly, if you see all the classification, see there was barely any red signature here, here even sparsely red signature is coming up. Now here it is improved. Actually, this uh, 90s there was a lot of improvement. It is marginally because of human pressure. It was marginally reduced. So that way you can understand the atmosphere, environment, and you can try to take measures like water shed, water conservation, so forest conservation, then different types of right from use of fuel wood, from fuel wood to gas and other solar and other types of or electricity. So that way slowly our lifestyles and the concentrated effort changes, and we protect the environment more beneficial. In this technology, you can know what type of crops goes everywhere. I mean, where, for example, banana. Say you can say this area is grown banana, and say maize. So what do you do? How you do? Once what you do is you get a satellite imagery, then go to the field with the locational aspect to the field, and do the validation. They're not ground truthing. This terminology is not ground truthing. You go to the ground, see the satellite imagery, relate to it, then anywhere such happens, you can say that yes, this is agriculture land, this is plantation land, this is other land. Like that, you can decipher. You can see some area where there is a lot of white patches. They are all degraded land with salt affected. So like that, you can easily know what environmental problems are happening, how to resolve that environmental, how to protect the environment. You can easily know. You can see all types of earth features like rock type, geological structure, valley, vegetation, blocks, all the soil features, everything you can see. Hilly terrain, mangrove forest, water reservoirs. Like as I said, the light get absorbed in the water. So anything dark in the satellite imagery is your water bodies. So this is a reservoir, and this reservoir river course change. Say your meandering. There is a concept known as meandering. That is the river changes and flood prone areas. All that you can identify easily with this technology. Not only all the natural resources, vegetation, soil, and everything, but you can also know all the urban areas, like for Delhi. So all the detailed information can be captured, and as I said, because of the capability, it can catch your tap or even your tree on your garden. So everything can be captured, and this information is useful because how the land is expanding, what encroachment is taking place for government land, for example forest land, railway land, all the are they encroached or are they properly planned, or how to plan regionally. All those things can be environment, protecting environment can be planned properly. So in big cities like Chennai, for example, then societal application like for agriculture, crops, as I said, forestry, water resources, geology, ocean, coastal, for fish, for fishing. I have another slide also where we can find everybody goes for fishing and they come back, and sometimes they blame their luck that they could not get proper catch. Of course, nowadays a lot of GPS and modern fishing trolleys goes and they catch fish, but this technology helps them to find out where exactly the fish concentration is more in that particular day and particular time. So they go and get a better catch. So this is now being developed by the INCOIS, that Indian Center for Ocean Information, and there is electronic board. These boards are put in all coastal districts. Community go in their regional languages. They go and understand, go there, catch the fish, and come back. While coming back, they can go to different places because there is no mobile working in the sea. So what they do, they have this GPS. The GPS that guides them to go to a particular place and return to this their own place. So that way they save time and also they save resources. Similarly, environmental protection, develop rural development, urban management, all those things can be possible with this technology, and it is becoming more useful, and everybody cannot afford to miss using this technology. So you have different points up to which you get information. Similarly, different types of crop. Already we have talked about crop, but there is a concept in agriculture now. This is known as CAP. Is the crop acreage and production estimate. With that, what they do is they can forecast like what is the agricultural production this year. How earlier there used to be a lot of statistical information collected from the ground. Now there is no statistical information required. You can drone or satellite imagery you can take and calculate. There are algorithms with that it can give you the exact information, and based on that you can plan your exports, import, food production, whether import has to be required or whether it is sufficient or not. All this agriculture development, income, livelihood, everything can be possible. Another aspect is wasteland. Like our land, based on human intervention, is getting waste. They become saline affected. They can be eroded. They can their soil composition or nutrition could be reduced. Not useful for agriculture. Agriculture land is getting used for construction. So to avoid all this, we have wasteland. So generally, as per the LULC, known as land use and land cover, the government regulation says that you can use non-agriculture land which is not used for agriculture and other productive means for infrastructure, construction, and all that. Similarly, other land can be converted into plantation, agroforestry, energy purposes, canopy development. All those things are now have come up, all because based on the scientific thing to protect the environment, to see that. Similarly, you can also know, say earlier there was no proper scientific input. People were going fetching water and having a lot of hardship. Now with information, they know where exactly the underground water is there, whether the water can be whether it is potable water or it is salted brackish water, or whether it is arsenic water, whether it is fluoride water. So once you know through satellite imagery and ground truthing, potable water, there you just you facilitate that water, and water can be used safely for without any adverse impact. So this information for protecting environment as well as for societal benefit. So for that, what they do is they generate lot of information base layers. One is base map, then lithology means the land formula, structural means fault, lineament, fracture, and all that. Geological, well, how the undulate terrain, and other conditions. Then hydrology, where there is water source, above ground, below ground, recharge, all those things. And then they integrate all that and then tell where exactly is the sourcing, that is water source is available. Similarly, you do some intervention, whether that is useful or whether not useful by any activity, developmental activity. For example, one region, they have did some watershed and water resources development. That is in 92. In 97, in 5 years' time, the satellite imagery says that it has increased the redness. It means that the improvement in the soil condition, vegetation is improved. So that is how you can know very quickly with legacy data. Legacy means past data or coming data, or you take the data, you can do very quickly rather than doing physically, with all the literature survey or collecting different databases, analyzing, that all will be very time consuming, lot of costly affair, and you may not get the exact information. So with the technology, you can get all the information about your environmental aspect and say whether environment is improved, degraded, or whether the developmental initiative has to be followed or has to be abandoned or has to be modified. All those things you can convince people, ensure participation and improve. Similarly, you have coastal and marine resources. You know that the regulation is coastal zone regulation is there, 25 kilometer on the sea. Then you have the what is that, fishing zone. You have different regulations are there. So within the regulation, how we can protect the environment, protect the mangrove, and fish with the regulation or allowable limit, and without any hampering to international conflicts, because sometimes you go to international area where we may face the other countries, with conflict. So this also all getting resolved by this technology. We also know the sea temperature. For example, how people can say or IMD can say that there is going to be less rain or there is going to be more rain, because you have two concepts. One is known as El Nino, another is known as La Nino. Actually, as per the environmental, standards and procedures over the years, the hot water goes to the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean cold water comes to Indian Ocean, and there is a lot of trans evaporation, and so there is a lot of moisture. The moisture goes to the clouds. Clouds become nimbus cloud. They are rich in moisture, and during June to September we have rainfall and the monsoon, and everything was okay. But now the environment has changed too much. There is a lot of greenhouse gases. The temperatures increase everywhere. So there is no regular monsoon, or monsoon also sometimes extreme, sometimes less. The phenomena have been studied. Somewhere in urban areas it is known as urban, heat plus, and the other areas, what they do is they call it lean ano. In Latin, lean ano means reversal. That is, rather than the Indian Ocean water going to Atlantic Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean is, the Atlantic Ocean hot water is coming to Indian Ocean. And so that way there is reversal. So there is unpredictable extreme events are happening. Similarly, the potential fish zone, where exactly fish is concentrated. So that is found out and being informed to the communities. Community go and fish and get very good fish catch. Similarly, cyclones and other times, that is, we have two satellites known as Ocean Set 1, Ocean Set 2, and they give ocean color monitor. With the color of the ocean, they give a lot of prediction, and they are converted into local languages and simple terms, and the community, district administration, everybody is informed, and that way they can protect themselves through environment. In forestry also, you have different types of forest: evergreen, semi-evergreen, moist deciduous, non-forest, water body, and they are also being studied with this technology. Urban areas, how they are expanding, how to plan. Like smart cities have come, a lot of activities have now taken up in the smart city. I don't know whether Kochi is a smart city. I think if it is a smart city, a lot of activities need to be done. And so most of the cities, they use quite a lot of technologies in this connectivity with very great detail. Disaster preparedness mitigation are quite both communication as well as satellite remote sensing, drones, sensors, everything are put together to safeguard and mitigate the disasters. Drought we have discussed, and you can see the every impact can be visually captured. Like it is known as evidence-based proof, not the statistical proof. You need not go to the field, but you can get all information, or even you get the information from the field, you can validate with the satellite information and the local information to to safeguard the environment. In 90s, we had used for forest cover, wasteland, and all that. In 95, you have used for crop mixed, development, land and water resources. In 2000, now we are using for cadastral mapping for the all the land survey and everything digital terrain, that is 3D, 4D modeling, sustainable development, geosphere, biosphere, data banks for natural resources, soil moisture classification. These are all being used, and they're all pertaining to the environmental protection. We can do crop forecasting. We discussed some time back about while you discussed CAP. Then we have crop system study, drought monitoring, watershed prioritization, all that being done in agriculture. In environment forestry, we have the Forest Survey of India gives different reports every year, and also every 5 years. You have forest encroachment, grassland, wetland, environmental impact, biodiversity characteristics. There is one very important aspect which we are able to reduce is forest fire. Now we should not laugh, because even countries like America are facing difficulty in controlling the forest fire. So in our country, we through satellite imagery, all information almost daily basis they take and try to safeguard. So different measures are now taken up, which are fire prone, and how to isolate that area, how to mitigate the forest fire. So this environmental protection for that, a lot of activities have been. Even in reserved forest, like say Gir forest, where there is a prone to like sometimes naturally there are forests because of the dry leaves and some activity. So that also how to arrest that this have been taken. Forest encroachment is a very big problem everywhere in the country, and they are being strictly monitored and measures are taken. If there is cyclone, how? Because all dark patches are known as water logging areas. So how to map and give rescue rehabilitation and see that how to convert the water logging area or the affected area into non-affected area by a lot of vegetation, by different structural measures, by people's participation in creating shelters, by early warning, all that proper communication system, disaster resilient structures, all those things can be taken by environmental protection. Landslide in mostly hilly region, but even in South India, we have landslides. Like we have Megamalai, that is your Tamil Nadu Kerala border. You have the that area, Megamalai, that mountain region I am forgetting, where you have all the landslides happening. Even in Goa, that Konkan area, landslides. In north, of course, we have continuous Himalayan region landslides. How to protect those? Those are also being taken care. Fishery, I have already discussed. You have groundwater potential, like we discussed about drinking water. So for the entire country, up to village level, we have now maps available. They are known as water prospecting. So whatever measures are taken, of course, we have a divine water also, but it's a scientific one is your water resources. So that is water sourcing map. With that, underground where there is discharge point, where there is water source, and how to tap, what is the water balance, all this information you can know, and to what extent you can draw that also you can find out. Okay, so this can be really helpful. When it comes to global positioning system, you have different constellation satellite. It started some nearly 70 years back with Navstar, but American satellites. Then we have Russian GLONASS. Then we have Galileo. You have Bedouin of China. In India, you have IRNSS, that is Indian Regional Satellite System and all that. Now, we call it Navik. Navik, it is getting popular. So in coming years, we will be using only Navik, because in Google and all the people who are taking the Navstar satellite data, you find sometimes that it shows your house, but it is not exactly your house, but it may be 5 meter distance, or maybe there is some deviation. But when it comes to Navik, you can get the exact point. So for environmental protection, you require such accurate information. This is also known as triangulation. Generally, four satellite data is taken. So three you can take of a region, but if you take four satellite, then you do some error correction. Is known as triangulation. So the mobile and the satellite does that type of triangulation, give the exact information. You have the different earth segment when earth stations also. The satellite gives the information there. From there you get the information to your mobile and your handsets. So there are different satellites, as I said, there are different receiving centers. The receiving sets were specially made earlier. Now it is all integrated, embedded in chips with your mobile phone. So you get everything. Generally, the information comes lat, lang, altitude means height, and satellite tracking, everything. It comes in detail. And it is used now widely for for land survey, for survey of area, for alignment, for planning, for protection of forests, for everything. It is very useful for anything, for your movement, for your going from one place to another. Everything is being used. In the GIS domain, it's algorithm which integrates with all this and generate various scenario. For example, you have some mapping required with all the information, with all the related information. You can generate the such mapping, and with that you can know everything. For example, this is about the electric network of an area where what is there. So this helps you. Similarly, you can query also that once now there is known as uh, Gram Panchayat Development Plan. That's the GPDP. Each Gram Panchayat in our country has to have this, and all the information and help will be given by the Bhuvan. There is one Bhuvan portal, and that portal is developed by ISRO. ISRO gives all layers of information, and the statistical other data given by the government of the state government and district administration, and all information available. They can make better planning, they can protect environment, they can protect resources, they can take measures to see that they are not causing any problem to the environment, ecology, the they are not jeopardizing the water resources, they are not destroying any land or soil, uh, fertility or land use practices. All these things can be protected by community knowing this information. So this is being developed. Here, for example, a particular block area. In that block area, you can find out it's a base map, watershed. In watershed, what you get different natural drainage. So natural drain you can, so where exactly water is accumulating and what is its base, so that you can tap that water and also store that water. Groundwater, where there is moderate, good, and all that, you can find out that area. So maps are made for the entire country. Land use, land cover. What is the land which is naturally there, and what the man put that land to use. And this is from the country to state to district and to gram panchayat and below. So such things are all available. Another very significant thing which has come, which we are involved in the Uttarakhand, is the soil map. Now, of course, subsequently the soil health card has come. Now the soil is suitable for maybe wheat, but you make rice. So how to make soil suitable crop to protect the land, soil, water resources, everything. So you need, for example, 102 classification of a district we have done. Not only for the district, but we have done up to the point level. This is the point level, very detailed map. So people can put their plot on this map and say what is that my soil is capable of growing. Similarly, in another one. Okay, so that information is relevant. Not only that, for urban areas, similarly, you have the detailed map on urban area. In this urban area, for example, you can also know where is the land degrading or what problems are there, what is uh, fairly good environmentally sustainable area. For example, this is there is a lot of vegetation and healthy and livable. This one is untreated, so that's why it is not barren and degraded land. So how you can convert this degraded land into productive land, or you can have all the infrastructure in this place. So that way you can plan protecting the environment. Similarly, different structures which has come, you can monitor from time to time. Similarly, you have the some treatment has been done, to what extent it is improved. As I said, you can make virtual models of 3D, that is length, breadth, and height, and 4D with time, 5D with pressure. All those different dimensional data you can make. You can, as I said, with very high resolution data, you can see every plant, everything happening on the ground, and you can relate. So these are all there. From that, you can make quite a lot of inferences for protecting data. We did a small, we have a detailed study. I will show you detail if the time permits. We have from 2002 to 2008, in 6 years, we have seen a particular area where there was not much of vegetation. The land is developed with water shed and some water resources development improvement. And this is the satellite image. These are also satellite imagery. This is analyzed satellite imagery where there was, see this, only the northern part, some part, there was this vegetation. Now the vegetation is quite improved in 6 years. And so you can see from a very dry to very lushy vegetable, even water resources developed, and the agriculture also started coming up. So this type of activity which you can do it very quickly. Drought, if there, as I said, drought can be predicted before 3 months, and you can take measures. Okay, and you can track wildlife. There is this link is there. If you see the link, you can see all parts of India on this day, this time, where there is the live. You can, because now the whole world is concerned about forest fires. So they have all satellites are helping, including Indian satellites, and so you can get the information about where there is forest fire. Okay, so very large mapping is done to find out what's going on the earth, why it has happened, because you can compare with different period of time, and you can take measures to see that degradation is not taking place, environment is protected, and all the rules regulation is followed, and you develop the area for better living and better environmental conditions. Second is the very detailed data information for both statistical as well as the information regarding to that area by satellite and other like space spatial as well as sensor, drone, all those like in different spectrums. Like you have not only visual spectrum, you have microwave, because the vegetation requires your infrared, microwave, thermal. Thermal requires your your city areas where there is a lot of temperature variation is there, and everything put together. You require the database that can be possible. Second is it gives single window data. You need not have to go for different places to get that. All data can be in one place, and you can analyze and get different decision support for environmental protection and for developmental administration. So these are few things which I wanted to share. Quickly, I will go to some case studies. I think they are more, very useful case studies which we ourselves have done. One, I will go to Atapadi, which this is in your state only. What we did is we tried to study this Atapadi. I hope you are able to see the screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Atapadi,
It is
this
clearly
is,
visible.
yeah. Palakkad in Munarkad block. This is what is the location map. You have the area of Atapadi. There was a lot of hue and cry. People were very agitated that the Atapadi is getting degraded. So you have Pudur, Agali, and Soyalur. This is the administrative boundary of the Atapadi. So we took the satellite imagery. This is the satellite imagery, and there is a lot of natural drains in this area. It is a ecological place. Then we took this is in 2001, and when you took 2005, you have seen the, say for example, say just 1 minute. Sorry. Because it is your this you can see, this is 2001, this is 2005, so you can see some difference, that though there is a lot of hue and cry that it is getting degraded, lot of people are getting settled, forest is under stress and they are getting denuded, all that. But you see 2001 and this is 2005. So there is definitely there is a degradation, but the degradation process can be restored or so can be protected and can be regenerated to develop. So that is what it is. So this 2001 we have dense forest is only the red one is dense forest. Open forest, most of the forest is degraded because open forest means degraded. And you have agriculture crops already. This area agriculture crops are started and all that. So this through satellite imagery you can do. In 2005 you can find there is a marginal increase in a forest area. See, you can, this is 2001, this is 2005. So there is marginal increase, but there is this degraded forest has increased. You see the degraded forest, and there is also degraded forest has increased. So that is a worry. And water resources also depleted. So what we did, we found out what is the changes which has happened. So most of the places there is some changes. Even water resource also there is some changes. So what we did, we tried to make a the advantage of this technology is that you can generate statistics out of the satellite imagery. So we generated statistics in 2001, 2005. For example, agriculture crops have reduced. So this is a good sign because it's a ecological area, it's a forest area. So there the agriculture crop or human activity should be reduced. So it is reduced. Agriculture plantation has reduced. This is also good area. Dense forest marginally increased. This is a good area. Open forest has increased. This is a negative fact, and in fact it is very severe because open forest say it has about change is about 51.77. So it means very highly degraded. So you have to take immediate measures. It could be landslide, it could be some problem that is maybe it is because of the precipitation or because of some like the animals are all depending on the forest, or maybe it is used for fuel wood, or maybe the land where the the soil is not supporting the vegetation. Some problem has happened. So this is a very acute this thing that we are going to analyze further. Degraded forest reduced. Okay, land with scrub has increased. This is also very negative one because land scrub means land has degraded. Land with scrub means land has degraded. It is nearly 74% increase. This is also negative one. Land without scrub has is good. Some areas. Water body is marginally increased. Barren land, rocky land is improved. So this is what is that the satellite imagery has given over the period of time. Then what we did is because we could not decipher much on the from this for the entire area, we went into very minute details. The minute details is what we did is, for example, we have what we did is we have a reserve core zone which have been kept and not much of intervention are allowed. Then the middle one, there are quite a large area which is degraded, and people have started agriculture also. And there is some place where a lot of experiments are being done, development done, people's activities are also seen. They are on a manipulation zone, restoration zone that is already degraded. So we are trying to restore. The another reserved one which is trying to protect without adversities. So we have gone into down below. So if you see small patches of the area, you can see that once again very, for example, this is the in restoration zone. In restoration zone, one area, middle area, this is the picture, and where what is the scene we have seen, we have analyzed in 2005 and 2001. So you find that there is marginally increase of the vegetation, but the degradation has increased. So we have generated the table, and we tried to concentrate more on the to contain the open forest, then contain the land with scrub. These two concentrations. So measures are taken to see that there is afforestation. In open forest area, afforestation measures, and in case of land with crop, maybe suitable plantation, and the soil suitable, uh, less water wearing, and the different types of watershed measures to restore water. All those things were being taken care. Similarly, if you see the another area of the restoration area, there once again we analyze and see in 2005, 2001. So there is a lot of remarkable development in this vegetation. There is once again another area where you can, like that, each area we analyze and try to find out what exactly is the problem and try to concentrate and take measures. And then we further divided the entire area into various basin wise, like say lower Bhavani, Surubani, then Koda, uh, Kodan, Gapalam, and Bharata, Puja, and all those. We have further gone into basin wise. Basin means water resources, that is your natural water drains, and the concentration of water in those areas. So we have gone into natural drains so that we can develop watershed area, protect water. Water protection means environment will be suitable for forest area. Then once forest area develops, the ecology and the environment will change, and slowly things will improve. Without, of course, those who have already settled, the government has decided not to displace or anything, but how they in each activity the people were participated, and so that they understand the importance of you know um, the forest and the vegetation with their lives. And of course they all cooperated, and they are very enthusiastic. So the slowly scenario got changed to that. And after showing all the visuals, and time to time people also got to understand at the gram panchayat level, and they are very literate. And so even the ISRO and other scientists also explained them. So it all uh, cumulative measure which has really helped, and it has improved the situation. Finally, the Japanese government wanted to help in this project, and the funds have also come, and they did some work also. There are a lot of NGOs are also being involved. They also tried to help in this project, for because there is for taking it to the knowledge to people and changing the village level activities or the people level activity. Scientists cannot really do much. So the scientists were there in all the places, but the all the activities, but the change makers are the village panchayat, the leaders, and the NGOs, and the government officials. So they made a lot of difference. And so a lot of development units have also been planned. And after few years, once again they got checked, and they found that there is a remarkable change in the activities. So that is how the environmental protection took place, by applying geotechnical geospatial technologies, by understanding what's happening in a period of say 5 years, or you can take even more data is available. And then trying to take, because if you take 10 years data, then to measures, if you take recent ones, you can take appropriate measures. If you take very old data, then the measures taken may really little dilute. So we have taken intentionally the 5 year difference data. So this is one application setup in the state of Kerala, which has really helped. So you can see one that in 2005 how the situation has improved. Of course, beyond that also, because after we analyze, the activities were taken. Wherever there is a remarkable improvement, activities are not taken much, but where there is really drastic, and not only satellite imagery, but the geodata, based on geodata, actions are being taken. Okay, so this is one. Similarly, we have up to village level. You know that for employment guarantee at the village level and local level, 100 days what is that activity employment is guaranteed. So So under that, mostly at local level, environmental measures are taken, like say water conservation, water harvesting, drought proofing or afforestation, irrigation canal, or then you have the provision of the irrigation, local irrigation facility, traditional water body improvement or innovation, desilting, land development, flood control. Then you have connectivity, and all those developmental activity taken that directly relate to the local environment. So how the technology can really help? The technology can help in mapping maps and planning, monitoring evaluation, and impact assessment, and helping people to understand whether they're appropriate or any improvement is taken. So a series of activity here. We have worked very closely with ISRO, and we both worked together, and the mapping everything came from the satellite image of ISRO, and we worked with closely by analyzing the map and taking to village level. We have land forms, land use, land cover, all the activities are analyzed at village level, are explained to the people in a very simple manner so that they can participate, and also shown that how the land form is there, what is the land use, land cover, what is the wetland generated, all that, so that people understand where they stand, and then after that how we can develop. So they, for example, in one place, say in on a village, we find different like say cropland, forest, and all are what is existing, and what is the really the situation, and how we can improve. There are very areas where you can improve is scrubland, barren rocky land. You can also improve, this quarry, whether you allow or not. So these few areas, the panchayat level, they could take a decision and come out with, the decision plan. So the plan is like, for example, where to grow paddy, where to go cotton, where to go castor, chili, like that, based on that particular village, based on other villages, other gram panchayats, they decide according to their land requirement. So they planned for that area to develop. That is suggested intervention. For example, where they will go for afforestation, where they will go for the land development, that is contour, cultivation and bunding, percolation tanks. Then crop rotation, because of the water and requirement and demand. So they also planned the crop rotation. Then they also found the irrigation development. All those things they planned village wise, and so when they planned and they participated after discussing and convincing them, so they implemented themselves. Like for example, here we explained about the detail, like what it means to the villagers. Then the villagers interacted with us, and they took the decision. And these are the village map, and based on their each what is that, their account number. That each household has an account number. So the based on the account number, their households. Then these are the various. Then each household with the detailed household information. Then the land, what type of land they are, whether they are agricultural land, barren land, and all that. This classification has been done. For example, you have say watershed land, you have agricultural land, all those different land classification, so that we can take activity, whether the government land, private land, degraded land, all the land of the Gram Panchayat. Then we have tried to see under the 100 days work what activity they have taken. They have taken some area that is for water development, water. Then we have taken some area for wells. They have, and this we have also tried to see what is its impact in different, say for example, this entire area where they have done and what impact it has generated, what need to be done, and where activities to be taken up. So these activities we have suggested, and they have also got convinced, they have planned, and they have, because it's a continuous process, they try to develop these activities, and there is a remarkable improvement. So when you use science and it is convinced to the people understand visually that what it is they're doing, what is its impact, and after taking some initiative, what could be its net impact, fact, if they are convinced, then they participate and they own, and this process can improve, and the local environment can be improved. That is mostly by contour bunding, check dam for arresting the water there. Otherwise, water was going to other places from there. And then they, for livelihood, mango plantation, that soil is suitable and it doesn't require much water, so that they have, with the moisture itself they grow. So then they have also desiltation of open land. All this they have done. Otherwise, so, and there is a improvement in all the activities. So this is, earlier there was not much of water resources. Now the water resources improved. We have shown the earlier one and present one. Okay, similarly, so this is one more case study where we so then we did a very detailed study on Rajasthan area. The Rajasthan is a desert area, and that we cannot make the treatment of that area for water resource development because rainfall was also very less. So we took, say for example, this we took 2002 to 2008 and found there is a marginal improvement, but not substantial improvement to take care of the area. So we started making the watershed approach. So we tried to say during rainy season, mostly 2 months, with very average up to 500 mm. So whatever they could do, they tried to save the water. They put it into the underground. They are known as tonka and all that, the local traditional ones. They did, and then the water discharge took place. And slowly they didn't go for a vegetable, what is that, agriculture as such, but they go for some spices like cumin and some vegetable production and all that. And so slowly you see the area has developed. So there is a lot of improvement in the surrounding atmosphere and also environment. And over the years, it has really developed well. So if you see how this is done, the different, rainfall pattern, some places it is as low as 73.85 mm. And of course, in this year in particular, slowly the rainfall also because once you have vegetation, there will be moisture and all that also will generate. And slowly there is a remarkable improvement in the vegetation, in the rainfall pattern also. In 2002, it's less than 100 mm, and in 2006 it is about 697 mm. And so you can see also the other areas were almost dry and degraded, but now there is a lot of vegetation also has improved. So that way, different measures that are taking how the area is slowly getting improved. So this is another example. Like we can take numerous examples where you can find that technology in a simple format, in simple, explanation. Once people are convinced, they take part, and they can make a marked difference in the, in the protection of environment, protection of livelihood, protection of their eco zone, and it also helps in restoration of whatever degradation taken place over the years. So this is what I have to share. I have quite a lot of case studies, but I think due to paucity of time, I think I am open for questions. If you have questions, please put the questions to me. Okay. So I leave it to you. Now, any questions you can ask? And
thank you, sir. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. In fact, I should not mince my words in congratulating you on that very wonderful session, sir. It was very elaborate, and of course, the information that has been given is something which is very new for many of us, especially me. And definitely the kind of information, the kind of points that you have mentioned, the case studies that you have given, all these are very, very important for all students of environmental sustainability. Thank you for that very wonderful session. It was really an eye opener for all of us. And though I did have this kind of an expectation from your presentation, but I should say that when it practically panned out, it went much beyond our expectations as such. It was a really wonderful session, and we have all gained a lot from it. And it is, I may now request my colleague, Dr. Sindhu P. Nair, the head of Regional Evaluation Center at Cochin, to lead the discussion on this particular presentation, which has so well been delivered by Professor Rao. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. First of all, Madhav, also it was a great pleasure to listen to a very enriching session from you, and we're happy to meet you in person this time. So, thank you very much, sir, for being with us here. And first of all, I should say this was a visual treat for us, primarily with the kind of very beautiful, colorful images of satellite pics and all that, which we otherwise do not get to see. Now, let me come over to the points that you had discussed and how valuable it is for us here and what further we can go into it. I think, sir has taken us right from the basics of the environment and what environment is with the kind of layers and the very basic level to the environment protection. He has introduced to us about the geospatial technology, because usually when we talk about technology, we say that technology should be judiciously used, and we have been in a course, we've been talking about environment friendly technologies. But here the entire thing is that, this technology, the geospatial technology, a very powerful technology itself lends greatly to contribute to environmental protection, which is of great significance and for overall sustainable development. So, having taken us through the basics of geospatial technology and the aspects such as the GIS or the geographic information systems, which is used for getting data with regard to the Earth's surface and analyzing patterns and relationships, and also about the GNSS, the Global Navigation Satellite System, which is a satellite constellation powerfully being used for getting data, and the remote sensing, which Sir had explained in detail with regard to the electromagnetic spectrum and how the various images of the Earth and everything is captured. So it was a in a very lucid manner with regard to the pictures we got to understand. I'm sure our learners would also have got a good idea about how exactly geospatial technologies is getting into the various aspects of environment. What is interesting was that this geospatial technology is spanning across, because given the fact that it is imagery of the earth as such, all aspects of the environment, and in details has told about the potentials of how it can be covered for almost all areas that we can think of under environment protection or sustainable development. For instance, about agriculture, the wide scope of geospatial technology in agriculture, which is very critical, especially to a country like India, and how it can be used for crop productivity, enhancement, drought, forecasting aspects, etc. And with regard to the various crops, etc., very live examples has driven home the point about how it can be effectively used for agriculture. Apart from that, the watershed development, because water being a resource under stress and all that, and how it needs to be very greatly utilized on a national level as well. The watershed development programs and other aspects were also bringing across the point about how it has to be done, and how watershed development programs have been done with clear examples has been shown to us. And the coastal marine resources, ocean applications, which talk about aquatic life, and apart from that, the forest fires, which is a very important aspect. As we were listening to the session, we could understand all key areas which are of concern under sustainable development is having a great hope. That is what I was getting the feel of having listened to the presentation. Everything which is scientifically analyzed, trend analyzed with lot of rich data. So these aspects were covered, and not only that, the geo positioning technology, the GPS or the positioning system was explained, which provided us the overview about how this actually works with the satellite systems, the 4 satellites required to precisely take up the point, etc. One interesting fact which I was finding was about the kind of change in the way the geostationary geospatial technology is being utilized, when Sir mentioned about how in 1990s it was taking care of some specific areas, and when we moved on to 1995 some other aspects, and moving to 2000 and beyond, where we understand that even digital terrain modeling, cadastral mapping, sustainable development, etc. So the field what we're getting is there's a lot of hope for environment protection and sustainable development with use of spatial technology. So that was very vividly that was coming across from the presentation. It was a very rich presentation, and the live examples that you showed us, the case studies, has in fact shown us in a project mode how it has been implemented. Because the good example of Attapadi, because that is placed always under discussions with regard to environment, how it had been done, and how actually the results have come to be seen. And also about the employment guarantee scheme, that is the National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, and that it shows the entire scope of how geospatial technology can be used right up to the level of people's participation, and finally suggested interventions at the field level. And even the case of the watershed program that you told, finally, all are very useful and very relevant aspects of how geospatial technology can be used. It's a technical thing, but I think Sir's presentation has made it very lucid and very clear to us to understand how it can be utilized. And also, one thought that is coming across is that we all know in terms of space technology, India as a nation has made considerable progress, and we continue to do that for all these years. So definitely, especially we know that in the recent times, India has also gone to a recent satellite launch had been done. That is the EOS 4, that is Earth Observation Satellite, has been recently also done. So we do not know much about that, sir. But then definitely there is something upcoming, probably with a new satellite coming in. Maybe we could have some kind of inputs on that as well, as to how further it can be done. And I think that is as of now, Rajesh sir. Maybe we can have some discussions.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that very crisp summation of what our sir has mentioned in his presentation. Of course, sir has covered a whole gamut of issues. And looking at the kind of presentation he has made, I can't think of any more broader or any more elaborate presentation than this on this particular topic as such. So, having said that, I'm sure my other colleagues will also have something to collaborate and contribute on this very important presentation. So, may I request Jaljakumari madam to come over?
Thank you very much, Professor Madhav sir. We are very much familiar with your name because you are the most ideal student of our MOOC. So we were that much inspired by your comment after completion of the program we have done, and we were blessed with that. Not only we got that chance to see that ideal student, and now we were the ideal students of you, sir, for hearing all these
You are always
elementary
teachers for
things.
me. Yeah.
Sir, you are also. Sir, and I am also a little bit familiar with NIRDPR because I have presented one paper there in 2019 because National Social Justice one topic was there, no sir, in
Very
2019,
nice to
and
know.
I came there to attend that meeting, yeah, at that time. So this actually at that time also I was wondering by hearing the topics, the areas, how NIRDPR is dealing with developmental activities for especially for rural development. But this was another wonderful um, occasion for us because we have heard a little bit about this spatial technology and all. But how, what is the application really, and what is the real contribution for this technology to environmental protection? Now only I was involving in such a wonderful area, because no such cognition was there earlier in our mind. In my mind, I'm thinking like that, because it's really a new platform and a new knowledge for me. And actually, each and every slide of you was supplementing something to our MOOC. That's what I was feeling, because I was writing a little bit on surface level about groundwater depletion and so many other aspects. But how it can be predicted, especially in this unpredictable climatic change conditions we are going through. And Kerala is a place where this type of flood, drought, and everything is coming every year. And actually, how technology is supporting the prediction of all these matters, and even though we people are not utilizing in an active mode, we and these type of things are not coming to the public also. That is also there. So if one climatic change is coming, climatic prediction is coming, immediately people will sarcastically telling about this if the department or the people who are dealing with this are telling, definitely the result will be in opposite. Like that, so many that type of comments will be coming from always public. But how wonderfully you are giving that pictorial representation of every knowledge. That is what really it was wonderful. The impact of technology we were seeing there also. And I think I was focusing on one, because I'm from means my husband's place is in Idiki district. You know that ecologically a fragile area, Idiki, especially it is referred in Gadgil committee and all, Gadgil report and all, and after that Kasturi Rangan report and all. And a lot of problems and strikes were there in Idiki district, and people were thinking that this is only a political interference, and really these reports are not true. Like that, a lot of things are there. But these type of technological presentations, if we are doing among that public, people will be definitely aware about the sensitive areas, what all cultivation has to be done in that particular area, how water resources has to be utilized. Like that, it will be more useful, I think, sir. So I was thinking in that way. So I think NIRDPR can do that type of an interference and case studies in Idiki districts also. Attapadi is also a sensitive area, and last time in 2019 flood, this Kavalapara tragedy was happening in nearby Attapadi only, and sir is more familiar with that place than us, means the people who are living in Kerala, because of your scientific studies. So I think Idiki can also be taken. Sometimes it might have been done from your side. I don't know. You are presenting only few case studies, isn't it, sir? So anyway, it was wonderful, and now we all are the part of the MOOC sustainable development, and they're active practitioners of this one. So I'm so happy to share this comment on you, sir. That's what I have to tell, sir.
I am very happy that actually you all got little sensitized, and you have been doing quite a lot of work. But you can now integrate technology. Earlier, there used to be selected organizations who were, having access to this data. But now, since the last 10 years or little more, the data is now open for public. So with your domain specialization, you can use this data and come with wonderful help and make a change in the mindset of people. Like you can go to a particular place, while
Yes.
you visit that place, you can take all this data and analyze and show it to them. Now, there are also partly analyzed data available now. So you have, I will send to Professor Rajesh about a few government of India, state government, portals. These portals are available on real time. That is almost daily basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, and these are all open for public. So there is no hidden or anything of that sort, because the government felt the the earlier planning comes, and now the Niti Aayog, all people felt that public money has gone into developing all this setup. They are generating a lot of data sources. Now the data source, if you just keep it, they will be legacy data or old data. If it could be useful for the the communities and the development prospect, the disaster mitigation and environmental protection, forest protection, they will be very useful. And here we are not spending much, but we are giving all the data for people to understand and take measures. Administration also, their mindset changes to support the people who are taking these measures. And NGOs are also nowadays very scientific. I am very happy that in Kerala, one side you have some of the best brains of space technology. Secondly, you have some of the best NGOs, and they are well known even in India and also abroad, I mean internationally. So one thing good is that once you have all the access to these portals, even UN has opened up their portal. ESA, that is European Space Agency, opened, because every space agency in the world are feeling that they are having so much of data and nobody is using. So they are now opening all areas to public researchers and academicians and everybody. So this is the ideal time to use that data. Even say, for example, madam, you feel that the latest data may take time. You use some old data, legacy data. So those data you can start working and seeing the trend. And so when you get access to the latest data, you can use. And when you go to a community or your neighborhood or students or researchers, you can discuss. And this you can write papers. The papers can also draw attention, and people will take interest. User groups can be made. So that way it will be helpful to you. I'm very happy that you all got very like interested, and I'm going to send all the details to Professor Rajesh, so you can share with you any
Sure.
point of time you have any data issues, you refer back to me. I will try to find out and give you that source. Okay, internationally, nationally, there is no problem. I will be very happy. That way we can all work together to bring a different development scenario, make some mindset change in people, functionaries, communities, everywhere. Because otherwise, how people will know that merely saying without an evidence and data, it is not right on our part to make some statement. You should come with all the detailed, empirical, evidence-based data, so that people, for example, now even in Kerala, when earlier, there was a lot of complaint about even housing, whatever being allotted to the people, poor and the SC, ST or tribal and all that. And they were complaining that the money has not come. Sometimes they feel that the less money has come, or they feel that the area where they're allotted is away from their habitation. All problems used to be there. So now what they're doing is they're taking a photograph in their mobile and forwarding with saying that this is so much of distance, this is not accessible to water, it is not accessible to, say, for example, road, it is not having electric connection, all those things. And immediately, because all provisions have to be there in that scheme, so the people cannot say that they will take time to examine. They cannot say that we are examining or we are trying to find out. Because everything is evidence and everything is given. The beneficiary or the community has given that. So the panchayat also little scared because coming with evidence. So panchayat has to recommend, and panchayat they cannot say no. So their work is getting done faster and things are improving. So the people are becoming more forceful than anybody. So that way the technology is helping everybody to, even for say forest degradation or some land getting degraded or some flood prone area, or some you said that there is some environmental issues are there. This, if you simply write even a newspaper article, it is generating a lot of attention. At least some people will go and see whether it is true or not, analyze. Then somebody will take some action. So actually your area of interest is most relevant to present times and future, because everybody is talking about, because this is without environment man's existence is at stake. and we are going to suffer. Community is going to suffer. There is going to be hardship for everybody. So all our responsibility to protect means not simply one can do. It is a team effort. It's a community effort. It's a everybody's effort. But in the effort, if you place properly our case, then everybody will come to for support, because there is the type of environment which is now set in is conducive. So for that, I am very happy. I will definitely contribute whatever I can. I will send all the resource, measures to Professor Rajesh, and he can help you in getting your interested data and analyze, and even mapping and other things. If I can do at my place, I will do and support you also.
Thank you. Thank you
So
so much.
thank you very much.
I request my colleague Dr. Prasita to chip in with her views. In between, I'm sorry, I got disconnected because of some data issue at my end, but now it's okay.
In fact, I
Prasita,
have.
madam.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, it was a very excellent presentation, I must say, but I couldn't listen it fully thoroughly because I was traveling, and I missed the opportunity to introduce you as well due to that. So I
No,
apologize for the same, sir.
no, I'm a student
In
here. All
fact,
teachers are noise. Yeah.
In fact, when I was going through Sir's biodata, I found that Sir has done two PhDs. In fact, you have done a PhD in economics and PhD in spatial technology as well. And Sir is now pursuing another Doctor of Philosophy as well, isn't it, Sir? So I was wondering, even after one PhD, we were a bit like that, and
Yeah.
how much energy and enthusiasm you have to pursue three PhDs. That too, sir. Something very
No,
rare, I
yeah.
must say, sir.
No,
And
that will
it's
depend on your passion and interest. See, those days when I did in 1997, there was a lot of opportunities in economics and development, and in development administration and all those. So we are asked to go for some higher studies. Then we find the technology has done sea change. Now the future is space technology, the artificial intelligence, and robotics, and all new way of moving things. So we are changing with technology. So we thought to have a formal certification and degree will be useful. So my passion went into it. So I did it out of interest. You know.
but that's great, sir. That's really great because I think your passion and enthusiasm is in fact motivating us also to do something
Yeah, please,
of
please.
similar
I
of
will be
that sort
happy.
as well.
That should be
So,
life. Life is a continuous learning. Na. So, and
yes,
the
sir.
time has changed. Earlier, what we used to be, now things have changed. See, quite considerably. Now, totally, it's a sea change.
That's true, sir. So some parts of the lecture which I could listen to, I listened to your part in which you were mentioning about how geospatial technology is helping us in controlling forest fires, especially you gave the example of Gir Forest. Because I have been to Gir Forest once and I
Oh,
have
very
seen the
nice. Yeah.
arid climate which it has, and it is much more prone to forest fires also, sir. So
Yeah,
definitely
that's
geospatial technology has helped in controlling forest fires in India, I must say. And one more thing which struck to me was very well explaining about the crop production pattern, which all can be predicted using geospatial technology. And especially, sir, when you said about the how geospatial technology can also be used in fishing. In
yeah.
finding out where fishes can be caught. Some very realistic and practical examples, I must say, sir, you shared with us, which somehow touched me. And one more thing, sir, nowadays we are seeing that the general use of pesticides, which is being sprayed on all vegetables and fruits throughout, sir. So, how just a thought which came to my mind as well, how geospatial technology can help in finding such this pesticide infested soils and all. I think it will also help in that as well, sir. No? That was one
Yeah.
question
Now,
which came into. Yes,
I
sir.
yeah.
think there is a
Very
related question which has been put by one of our students. I think
please,
sir can take
please.
both these questions together. So I am
Yes.
Yeah.
putting it on the screen. Um, so this is the question. This is from Mr. Saurav Sharma. How
Yeah. Okay.
geospatial technology can help in places like Haryana and Punjab to reduce the burning of paddy field, which produces a high amount of pollutants. So
Yeah.
maybe
So
you
I
can
think
just
it's a very relevant, topical, and very. I think each one should ponder about that. Well, in case of Punjab and Haryana, to take up that, of course, they could identify with all the satellite imagery that where the the bonding takes place plot wise. Even NASA also put it in their website before ISRO has put it. So there was quite a lot of considerable debate, and the sensitization took place. But farmers are not relenting because they felt that they have to spend money for for irrigate for what is that land development for the next crop. So they felt that this is the easiest, just to born and then it gets let the next crop can be grown. So now what has happened is now IIT Delhi and ICAR has come out with new models. Now they have put it in many of the farmers plots freely, and what they do is they do it automatically tilling and extracting the crop residues and taking it for bio what is that biogas production. So one is that this waste disposal, it is waste to wealth, but it is not done uniformly. To change the mindset of the farmers, of course, there is some misunderstanding also because of the farmer rights and the government intervention. There was some problem last year, so that is also going on. But people are accepting because they are not spending any money. The farm is getting leveled and developed for the next crop, and this is being taken by different agencies for their biogas production for industry and for other energy use. So this is coming up well. Even Delhi government also giving incentives. Haryana and Haryana government also started giving incentive. Punjab, they are considering whether they will make it more, but the farmers are accepting. There is no, conflict of interest. Only thing is that it is not totally made it for everybody. Why? Because we cannot just by finding out a solution, just giving, advice to farmers, they won't listen because that is their livelihood. And secondly, they have to make the agriculture period is only some limited, some based on irrigation available and also monsoon. Now, for their crop, they have to be ready. They totally depend on the agriculture. So, without any solution, if you just advise that it is causing air pollution, it is causing environmental issues, they may not listen. Though it is the real issue, but they may not listen. So that's why, and we are getting penalized by international treaties. The government has written all signatories for the, the climate treaties, and now we are not able to implement. There is sustainable development issues. We are not able to cater. There is a carbon problem, but now slowly they are trying to incentivize the farmers. This is one issue. That is one. Secondly, I see here different industries under CSR also are trying to address, because in the country the main problem is Haryana and Punjab. There the farmers are little more rigid. In other states, I think they are little pro agreeing community, but there they are little more rigid because the large farm size, more rich and vibrant and vocal. So there is some issues. This is about the Punjab. This scenario is not very bad. Scenario is improving, but still there is a issue because all farmers are not agreeing. But measures have already started going ahead. They are giving incentive. Second one about the madam, you said about the high pesticides. The pesticide issue generally, what they can do is the satellites cannot do it, but similar remote sensing with the sensors can be capturing this information. That is under precision agriculture. In precision agriculture, the sensors are put in the field known as test bed. In test bed, sensors will be kept there. They will be observing certain agriculture area. They will continuously collecting information about the behavior which changes in the agriculture, in crop, in the vegetables, and different climatic parameters. They will let it go to the cell tower, nearby cell tower. From cell tower, it comes to different research scientists, and scientists will analyze the data and find out what goes on, how much pesticide is sprayed. Nowadays, we can program AI-based drone, that is fertilizer, pesticide, or maybe the fumigation. All those now all controlled conditions which are permissible. Which are not permissible, they can identify also by these two measures. And third, of course, by the lot of the food and food safety, that FCSSI of India, they are putting a lot of lab now in all the states, and there they are certifying. They are giving, what is that, safe certificate. In a Western country, they are there. In India, it was not there. But now they have also, because now after post COVID, during COVID, people have become more concerned about the type of food they are taking, and the health consciousness. So now the certification to malls, to vegetable vendors, and all that, even retail also, all the even online commerce, e-commerce, they are now giving certificates. But you can say that common vendors may not be aware. You are right, but it will take some time. We have to make them aware, of the community or the government or the schools, colleges. This has to be sensitized to them. But there are technology which can tell them whether the pesticide limits are more, whether it is good for consumption, whether it is unsafe to take those measures. Lot of things are now. That's why UPC, madam, in the, what is that, website, and also in mobile, nowadays people are going for that is chemical free milk. And a lot of people have come, and in cities they are even paying more money for chemical free milk, because the cattle which they are taking the cattle feed, they are ensuring that they are given proper natural and pesticide free cattle feed. And obviously they are expecting that there is no chemical content in the the milk, and they are also testing. So like that, new measures are coming up. So I think it is very good at this stage, at this part of the time of the century. We are lucky to be there, and I feel that things are not that bad. But it's a big country. There are a lot of issues where communication is not reaching, or people are not aware. It will take time, but people are very vocal, and people are very active now, and that's a good sign for all of us, that even if we do not raise our voice, somebody will raise voice, and things will get streamlined and come to some local level. So this is what I have to say. But satellite cannot keep it totally, because satellite signatures can take about vegetation, can take about vegetation conditions, but whether it is pesticide, or whether it is degraded soil, whether it is some turbidity and other problem, it is difficult to say. But the what are the sensors can give you the exact information. And when it comes to the parallel burning, that is in agriculture field, lot of initiations have started. Even industry under CSR are allowed to spend any amount of money, and convince farmers not to burn and go for alternatives. And they are not accepting any money, but they want in a very very short time how they can make the land ready for the next crop, because they generally grow for three crops, that is Kharif, Rabi, and another crop. So that's the problem there, those two states. So thank you. Yeah. I hope I have answered. I don't know, because it's still in the process of identifying the pesticides, but local level they can identify. Household level, maybe you can identify with various chemicals that it's pesticide infected, or maybe more chemicals are there in that. But only through precision agriculture, through the sensors, it could be identified. In Western country, there is stringent regulation. In India, to enforce that will be little difficult. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sir. Thank you so much, sir. You correctly explained what I meant, and very nicely explained, sir. And your session, I must say, was very, very enriching. And thank you so much for sharing your inputs with respect to technology. And over to you, Rajesh, sir. We can take more comments from our viewers as well, sir.
One of the thank you, Prasita, and your question is also very relevant as was Jaljakumari madams and Sindhu madams. These are areas which need further discussion, maybe in another forum where we could again invite Rao sir to deliberate with us on various aspects. But as a parting question or a comment, which I would like to mention to Professor Rao. I feel one of the areas where geospatial technology could actually play a major role is in determining the cropping pattern as such. Because in many places in India, what we see is the operation of this cobweb cycle. That is, and since you are a PhD in economics, you know much better than me about cobweb cycle. Basically, one person finds that a certain crop is profitable this year. So next year also, all the others follow the same cropping pattern. And in the end, what happens is something that we see in many parts of our country. There is a glut in the production of a particular crop. So can we actually use this technology to transfer data in real-time basis so that in one place, if say onion is being produced in large quantity, the information could be spread to other places real-time, so that other farmers also do not go into onion cultivation. They could actually produce something else, and thereby the price stability is maintained. Your comments, sir?
Now, very, very relevant question. And the answer is actually it is happening. Like we have 2-3 initiative of the government that government has gone for to promote this, gone for farmers producer organization, FPOs. Okay, these FPOs decide like whether they should go for a particular crop or not based on the inform. Nowadays, there are so many government, then private and organized consultancy organizations, including banks, because NABARD and so many other banks are giving information that there is a demand for so crops are going to be increased. Say for example, they say pulses are going to be imported, so you can change into pulses. So like that. So different information are being. Even people are advising them on almost real time mode in different. Like say in Uttarakhand, for example, Uttarakhand, Sikkim. These two are what is that organic certified states. There the everything is you have to get a certificate. Locally very few people go for chemical fertilizer, everybody mostly organic only, and they send to all parts of the country, and also basmati rice and some spices and all that, honey and all that they send abroad. Now there I find that the the cropping pattern earlier they used to be like everybody, but slowly since last some 15-20 years, slowly there was this measure started. People have told that for health point of view, for soil condition point of view, for environment point of view, better to go. It's a small state, not many agriculture people are there for agriculture production. Why not you go for it? So that way slowly people have changed. So Sikkim and Uttarakhand has become this organic certified. Similarly, in Western country, nowadays there is a, for all exports, they're insisting on this certification. And even somewhere that is flowers, if you, for example, floriculture, you got, sorry, Mother Day, Father Day, or whatever day, there is a lot of requirement of flowers, or orchids of maybe Sikkim. Now, they have to be exported within 24 hours or less so that they can be distributed for that particular day. So you have to have floriculture ready. So in Karnataka and some of the places, in artificial, what is that, in poly houses and all that, they make, earlier they were making crops. Now they are going for these flowers. The flowers are almost reaching in 6 hours, 5 hours time in different countries, European and other country. Now for that, they are uploading videos like how they do it. They do not put any child labor. They are all, there is no chemical and other use, because they feel that this chemical thing also can contaminate their soil or something there. So regulation are very stringent. So all these things are done on real time basis. So in crops also, what these people can do is, now they are doing FPO as I said. Secondly, there is one university, IC here started one Kisan Mitra. You please check Kisan Mitra website. There some 3,000 innovative things are put. Many are from Kerala. They are inventing so many things like spices to many of the products where they're using technology like even artificial intelligence in precision agriculture, monitoring every aspect. So this monitoring, what they do is they are not now, they are very intelligent. Earlier they used to go for one person going for plantation, everybody gone for plantation or something. They have heavily incurred loss or some problem has happened. Now it is not like that. So they are even some cases were there where earlier they were making all the cashew plantation, and then they found there is a glut in cashew. So some years they concentrated on some other crop, and the cashew, because somewhere there is demand increase, they got it from Sri Lanka and some African country to meet, they balance their demand for that year, and they concentrated on more remunerating export products, even spices also. Similar thing, because nowadays people are little business conscious. Secondly, lot of information through mobile and through various sources are given to them. FPO become very strong forces. Then there is a lot of other agency, intelligence agencies, which gives market information to them. They are pro farmer. They give market information to them because they feel that if they give market information, then they will get benefited in terms of selling tractors or maybe some fertilizer or whatever it is. So that way, what you have concern is right. Concern is very right. I think professor's concern is right, but they are making different types of options. The options are like, for example, now the farmer body earlier used to go for distress selling. Like if the onions are more in what is that Maharashtra, and demand is not much, they go for distress selling. Even people used to throw the tomatoes. But now there are so many places, industries have set up what is that cold storage, plants, and then process. Everything is linked now. You have to simply report through FPO. FPO is a strong vocal body, and they collect all that, store it, send it to different agencies for processing. All that now, so much of technology in storage also has come up. So that way I think there is of course you can you cannot say that it has changed totally, but substantially things are in place. And please, I would request each one of you to see Kisan Mitra of ICR. You simply type Kisan Mitra, and every fortnight or month they give in different innovators come, and they present what they have done in their local area. Kisan Mitra, all technology oriented. So this is what I have to tell. I think I have answered, but there is no full answer because a lot of economical aspects have to be analyzed. But information guidance support system are in place.
Thank you, sir. That was a very clear explanation. Thank you for your efforts, sir. And today has been a long evening for you.
I'm sorry, I have to close.
Another thing that I really appreciate is the kind of energy that you have been maintaining right from the beginning of the presentation till now. That is really too good. Thank you so much. And may I now request my colleague, Dr. V.T. Jalajakumari, to propose a formal vote of thanks. Of course, I know you are part of our family, so
Yeah.
it's not
I'm
required,
proud
but
to
still,
be, and
the
I'm
sake of
happy
courtesy,
that
I would definitely request my colleague, Dr. Jalajakumari, to propose a formal vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Sir, before that, have you seen any question from some of the viewers, I think?
I have already displayed that on the screen also, and Sarah has answered to that.
I've answered.
Because for some time I have lost my connectivity and I shifted to another device.
And yeah,
That's
in
what
between
happened.
we had
I didn't know
referred to
actually.
that. I also had that issue with my computer.
Sir,
So in between,
I have joined through my mobile phone. Finally, I have found that there is no charge at all. It was going to stop immediately. I have shifted. That's why that gap has happened. Sorry, sir, for that. Anyway, sir, we are very much thankful to you, and our students are also will be very much thankful to you for a wonderful evening, sir. Because sir is that much resourceful. Whatever things we are asking about this thing. Sir is having a very beautiful and apt answer for that. And your experience is so vast, and you are always studious about everything, all new things regarding space technology, and more than that of geotechnology, and more than that of our environmental aspects. I think definitely Dr. Rajesh was giving our students a good opportunity to see such a person, and such a former student of their course. And actually, this will be inspiring our students and other faculties. Some, I think, especially for MOOC courses and all, many faculty members, many experts are coming forward for learning something, for studying something from the MOOCs and all. So actually, this is what the impact of MOOCs I feel. So the learned person, and they are coming forward, and they are contributing to the other colleagues and to the peers. That is what the beauty of the MOOC platform, I think. Really, we were attaining that the broad objective of the program, or particularly of our course. And we are very much thankful to you, sir, for being the part of the thing to contribute a lot to our course. And now I think our course is becoming more enriched than from the basic topics and basic content. We are getting a lot of people, but especially today we feel, not because to you, because in front of you and in the presence of you we are telling something, you don't think like that, but really I'm telling, this was very wonderful and very informative and very useful to our learners. And this will be in our course, and for the coming students also, this will be beneficial. And we are expecting sir's experience and resource further and further to our MOOC, isn't it, sir, Rajesh sir?
Definitely, definitely. That's something we look forward
It
to.
will be my pleasure. Yeah. It
Yes.
will be my great pleasure, and
Practical
I will be
experience,
very happy.
yeah. Many people can talk something, but from the practical experience and from the real platform, they are sharing something is definitely it is different. That is what we felt actually. For that, again and again, for the whole students and for the coming students also, for the group of this MOOCs, I say our sincere gratitude to you, sir. And we are expecting you many times to interact with us, and for being the panel of this to share with our students, sir. Thank you very much,
Yes,
sir,
sure.
once again
It
for all
will be my
this.
great pleasure. Thank you all. Thank you for the opportunity, and I really enjoyed. And I feel happy that I could be useful to you. I'm always there. Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much for sparing your
Thank you.
valuable time, sir. And it
Yeah,
has
yeah,
been
sure. You are
wonderful
welcome.
being with you for this evening.
You're
Thank
welcome. Yeah.
you. Thank you.
I think with your kind permission, we can end the broadcast.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, yeah. You are welcome. Yeah.